triple header weekend for Pirelli GT4 America rolls on here at scenic Barber Motorsports Park. A wild and woolly race one, makeup race for a weather-affected race at Road America last month. Yesterday left us all in a bit of a tizzy, but we're expecting a lot of action here for the final two races of the weekend, starting in just a few moments' time. Under mostly sunny skies, although some cloud cover is starting to roll in. The temperatures, though, starting to climb once again, close to 86 degrees Fahrenheit, track temperature right around 97 degrees at the moment. We did have temperatures start to fall earlier in the day after a brief rain shower rolled through, but that is history. Not anticipating any weather interruptions in this 60-minute race that is coming your way shortly. It's a great grid as expected in Pirelli GT4 America. 23 cars set to take the green, and we are now just moments away from hearing those engines fire up down on the grid. There it is, the command to start these cars. Calvin Fish, what a race yesterday. We're all still trying to decipher exactly what took place.
Yeah, it was a wild one, and certainly has made some differences in the championship. Two are still extremely tight. There's only a 1-point margin for the Pro-Am Championship battle. It's only 9 in Am, but bit of a blowout happening here in silver with Kevin Bone, Kenton Cook. Brilliant victory here yesterday. 47-point margin over the 68 squad. That Supra, Gresham Wagner, Carla Gonzalez, they've got to respond here today, close that gap down.
Yeah, they do. They very nearly cut into that lead yesterday, but a pass on the second to last lap, the lead changed hands. It was a 14-point swing, and Cook and Boehm now with a firm control in that title hunt. Amanda Busick is the third member of the team. She's down on the pit lane, and I do believe we have a chance to hear from her now.
Hey guys, yeah, we just got to these GT4 cars out on track for their formation laps, and I go back to yesterday and just how crazy it was. I think action from green flag to checkers for us. I did catch up with Charlie Poston just prior to getting these cars off the grid, and I told him I don't think it can get as crazy as it was yesterday, and he said, wanna bet? So the drivers know what to expect here as well. But yeah, I'm gonna be following along with those AM class battles today. You'll have Laura Hayes in the P1 position in that class. You'll have James Clay right behind that, and as you guys mentioned, Paul Sparta and Anthony Garacci, but such a tight points battle in all these classes, and that's what it's about here today for race one, officially at Barber Motorsports Park.
Yeah, that's true. Technically, this is race one, although it is the second race of the weekend, and again, that's because the race yesterday was technically Road America race one. In fact, the grid was set based on qualifying at Road America. That carried over to this event. That's out of the picture now. Now we had qualifying earlier today to set the grids for the remaining two races, including this one, where on the silver class pole you find JMF Motorsports, Mike David Portman, and Braden Arthur. It is the P1 group car that starts on the overall pole, though, courtesy of Matt Bell. And then Laura Hayes, great qualifying effort, 11th overall, good enough to secure the M class pole by a pretty wide margin. So she will roll off from 11th. As we look at the starting grid here, it is Bell on the overall pole as mentioned, with Ortman starting alongside a McLaren and an Aston on the front row. Jesse Webb and Riley Dickinson make up row number 2. It's a sister car to the silver class pole sitters that starts in third. Mark Miller from Dome Motorsports starts on the inside of the third row next to Luca Mars. That car was fast yesterday but had a technical issue. They actually had the fastest lap in class in the makeup race. Kevin Boehm, winner yesterday, will start inside of row 4 next to Alex Ellis, the Canadian for VPX Motorsport. In the 5th row, that's where you'll find Gresham Wagner for the Rafa Racing Team, alongside a fellow Supra runner, Nikolai Elganian. There's Laura Hayes starting back in row 6, but the M-Class pole sitter with Sam Craven alongside from the Random Vandals team, couple of BMWs there. Row 7 belongs to Tony Gaples, Black Dog Speed Shop, and James Walker Jr. from the Bimmer World Racing Team will start to his outside. James Clay, points leader in the M class from Bimmer World Racing, starts 15th next to hometown hero Tyler Stone. Then it's Paul Sparta and Michael Oriema starting in the 9th row for Random Vandals and NOLA Sport. Row number 10, Anthony Girazzi from the Rafa Racing Team next to Judson Holt in Fast Track Racing. They ran at the pointy end for a good chunk of the day yesterday before contact into their day early. Michael Garcia starting in the 11th row in position 21 next to Hannah Grisham. They had a technical issue and will start out back for both races. Technical issue as well for Luke Hartog. This is the car that actually qualified on overall pole, found to be just slightly out of compliance in post-qualifying tech inspection, which means that Hartog and Dan Seville will have to come from the back in both races here this weekend. Plenty to chew on across all three classes. Great grid as ever, and a wonderful facility here at Barber as well. 17 turns, 2 1/3 miles, and we saw yesterday this place is more than capable of putting on a great GT4 race.
Yeah, and they say it's hard to pass around here, but these drivers in the field certainly find a way to do it here yesterday. It was action-packed. Expect the same thing here. Championship certainly coming into the forefront of everyone's minds right now. 100 points still on the board with the official doubleheader weekend we're now starting here at Barber, plus Indy as well, of course.
Right, 2 more races to go at the conclusion of these 2 this weekend in conjunction with the Indy 8 Hour in October at the world-famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Here comes the field looking for the green flag for the second time this weekend. It is the overall pole to Matt Bell. And how about this? Greg Gill, president and CEO of SRO Motorsports America, has the green flag in hand, and he waves the field to life coming down the front straightaway. Bell challenged immediately by Mike David Ortman, who carries a ton of speed around the outside to grab the overall lead. 2 cars from different classes doing battle at the front of the field.
Oh, really tight there with Jesse Webb. A little bump there with Luca Mars as they come off the corner, and Webb is off the road and on for a ride. Does he come across the racetrack? He does!
Oh, right in front of the pack. Everyone, though, somehow able to split him. That was heart-in-your-mouth stuff. Somehow, everyone able to continue on. Meanwhile, Riley Dickinson embroiled in a bit of a battle here with Luca Mars. That is for 3rd and 4th. Other cars kicking up dust at corner exit. That's leaving turn 6. Now the run down towards the museum complex, also known as the Alabama roller coaster.
Look at this. Luca Mars and Dickinson, 2 of the young Chargers in our paddock, going side by side here. 37 car, Mark Miller looking for a way through for Dome.
That's the brightly colored Mercedes watching the other 2 go side by side in front of him. It does settle itself out with Dickinson grabbing that spot away. He and Kurt Swearingen had a nice day yesterday, looking to back it up with another strong result, but he had a big twitch there at Apex.
Dickinson feeling the heat. That Aston Martin has come alive early in this race. Luca Mars on the charge there. There's that 68 car. We talk about them having to make some moves. Right now, they have track position on the championship leaders. They need to move forward, try and buffer those points a little bit.
Well, mission accomplished, at least momentarily there, as Gresham Wagner was able to muscle his way around Alex Ellis. So now he's got a buffer that actually matters from a points perspective, separating himself from Kevin Bohm.
That is huge. They have to make it happen here today and across these next 2 races.
Kevin told me he felt the strength of this BMW was in the brake zones. We'll see what he can do here coming up the hill. This next corner, once they get to the top of the crest, now turn 5 that's upcoming presents maybe the best passing opportunity on the track.
Looks to the inside briefly, just feints his nose down to the inside, tucks back in on line. Kevin Bohm said yesterday in the race he really just had to manage his tire pressures. They overshot a little bit. You're able to bleed them down. Of course, we do have a new rule in place this weekend. You are allowed a joker tire here, so if you elect to, you can change 1 single tire on these GT4 cars in this race today.
Good chunk of the field did elect to do so yesterday. We'll keep an eye on that as we get closer to the de facto pit window right around the middle portions of today's race. Ortman leads Dickinson, who leads in his class. Luca Mars was shown momentarily up ahead, but actually it's Matt Bell, that's up in the 2nd spot. His timing and scoring sorts itself out. Here's Luke Hartog cutting his way through the field. Luke Hartog, a lanky Dutchman, really, really fast though, and I think a driver to keep an eye on. This guy is a star.
He certainly is. Right now he's focused forward. He's got around James Clay, who has the lead in AM, so I'm not sure with that kerfuffle coming through turns 3 and 4 with that delayed Laura Hayes, but she's at the tail end of this field right now, starting from the pole.
Mars and Miller scrapping it out here, the veteran working around the outside of the youngster. Luca keeps it pinned to the inside, and Mark just doesn't have the room on the outside there to try and make it work. He'll attempt once again to plot a course past the Aston into turn 5, looks to the inside, but again, Mars has him covered, or does he?
Tucks it inside, got good grip right now. Pirelli's are relatively fresh. Big news this weekend from Dome Motorsport. Expect to see 2 cars in the field at Indianapolis, maybe 3 for next year. They're expanding their program.
Eddie Killeen, who shares the car with Mark, really enthusiastic about his racing and excited to see this program continue to build. I had a chat with him at the beginning of the year, and he has aspirations of being involved long past his time as a driver in one of these cars. He wants to see this team continue to grow and have a long-term presence on the grid.
Oh, little bobble there for Luca Mars. Really attacked that first entry corner there to that little high-speed chicane, turn 12. Almost lost the tail of this car. Hangs on up front. A lot of pressure here from Matt Bell on the leader, Ortman.
A couple of cars that have had some trouble here. Hannah Grisham is in the pits. Remember, that car had a technical issue in qualifying, and they've only turned 1 lap here in this race before calling Hannah back to the pit lane. But also Laura Hayes qualified on the M-Class pole. That car is stopped in the pit lane.
Yeah, as we noted, she must have got involved maybe in that kerfuffle there, so not ideal. Here's the harder racing machine. Doesn't look like a hive of activity down there, so maybe it's job done. Maybe they're sending her back to the paddock.
Hate to see that. Had a decent day yesterday. Did the 2 Hannahs. Part of a busy weekend for the Heart of Racing across multiple championships, multiple paddocks. Here, of course, and also at Circuit of the Americas, where they're running a couple of programs in the World Endurance Championship.
So Ortman made that bold move in turn 1, but our pole sitter Matt Bell has shown a lot of speed here. Luke Mars sits there in P4, Riley Dickinson in P3.
Close stuff, as you'd expect, between these GT4 competitors. Here comes Bell, starting to reel in Ortman. Remember, Bell was on the overall pole. Ortman had that big move to try and take the overall lead away into turn number 1 on lap 1. He's got plenty of pace in that McLaren.
Yeah, he really does. Look like he's carving these corners a little bit more effectively than JMF machine, but it was a bold move, as we said earlier on, from Michael Ortman. They've been on a bit of a charge. Didn't have a great day here yesterday, but he came off that brilliant solo victory at Road America just a few weeks ago. JMF are just getting the job done. So many podium runs, it seems, over the last few weekends across all 3 championships that they run in, including a clean sweep in TC this weekend for Jonathan Neudorf.
Yeah, just outstanding. The performance from Jonathan, who we will see later in this race, but his car had the issue at the start. Jesse Webb has been trying to recover. He's come up as far as 17th overall, but has a lot of work to do. He's about 20 seconds behind his team car, which is the overall leader.
Plunging down the hill. Have to be so precise around this racetrack, but you can really just kind of bound over those curbs there, down through that little corkscrew.
Dickinson entering into this mix amongst the top 3 overall. Riley, a former Porsche Carrera Cup North America champion. He's the points leader in that series again, as he is dipping his toes back in those waters this year.
Matt Bell putting the pressure on. Great to see him back full-time racing over the last couple of years. One of those young drivers who kind of slipped through the net. Didn't see him in the paddocks very often for probably about 4 years, I would estimate. Now he is back with some really solid runs here. Super talented young driver.
For the sake of clarity, we have 2 different Matt Bells in the paddock this year. We just saw his British counterpart racing for DXTT Racing in GT World Challenge America, but this is the American Matt Bell.
And just for a little further confusion, his brother Rob Bell kind of runs the McLaren racing program, and Matt Bell, the American Matt Bell, is driving a McLaren.
Yeah, good point. I actually hadn't put those pieces together before, but as if we needed to muddy the waters any further, we have that little bit of nuance to it. These 3 appear to be the class of the field. Mars has fallen off the pace slightly and is still being hounded by Mark Miller. It's an interesting mix of strategy, isn't there, in the Pro-Am class? This came into the rules, I think it was last year, right, where you could nominate your driver 1 or driver 2. It wasn't set by FIA driver grading, as had been the case in the past. And gradually we've seen more and more of these Pro-Am lineups in Pirelli GT4 America try different things and alternate back and forth. So it's a pretty good split between pros starting and AMs starting here in this race today.
Yeah, and so for the pros, what they want to do right now, they want a clean green race in terms of not creating these buffers, these gaps over their AM counterparts, and then suddenly having that buffer erased with a full course yellow. Conversely, the other group on the other side of that would love to see that happen. Have their pros run the second phase of the race with not too much of a gap to try and erase.
Here's a battle. Alex Ellis scrapping with Kevin Boehm.
This is where Kevin Boehm has got to use all of his experience and calmness here in terms of thinking of the big picture. Gresham Wagner, Tyler Gonzalez are their closest pursuers, 47 points back, a couple of positions down the road. Kevin Boehm just trying to get to his flank. Now we'll try and do the crossover, but loses the tail of the car a little bit when he accelerates. There you can see it squirming around, laying down rubber.
Ellis was so fast here last year, remember. Coming off of a lengthy hiatus from top-level motorsports. Put together this deal to be back with VPX for the full season here in 2025, and they've had their moments in the sun where they have run in front. Right now, though, Alex has his hands full with the championship leader. Meanwhile, we were lamenting a potential problem for Thunder Bunny Racing and Laura Hayes, but it sounds like it might have been just a transponder issue. Working to get confirmation for that, but if that's the case, she would be 11th overall, we believe, and that would be good enough for the class lead if that's the case, and that makes sense because that's where she qualified.
Yeah.
As far as we're aware, she's not shown as having made a pit stop, so I think that that would be correct, that she should be still in the M class lead, and that's a great thing. They had a day that was quite promising yesterday, end up with very little to show for it.
Yeah, sorry about that. We're talking about a story that really wasn't real in terms of her having drama on the opening lap, obviously. Here we go, Kevin down to the inside on Ellis, loses the front end. Ellis comes back at him.
But now, Kevin's got the inside for a sequence that really has to be treated with caution. Not easy to go too wide and come out on the other side through the Alabama roller coaster.
Yeah, they easily cleared him, actually. That was quite extraordinary that he had a car length or more by the time they got to the brake pedal again. But weird that Ellis didn't accelerate at the same rate they're coming off the corner.
Yep, that's big for Kevin. Lets him now try and chase down Gresham Wagner, and it also lessens the points disparity between the two. Wagner just trying to claw back some of the deficit here. Looked like it was going to be their day yesterday for a good chunk of the race. Running at the front, would have chopped 7 points off the margin. Instead, Kenton Cook made the pass late on Tyler Gonzalez, and instead of cutting off 7 points, they lost 7 points, so there's that 14-point swing.
Yeah, I'm not sure Tyler Gonzalez slept very well last night thinking about that. I mean, even Kenton Cook said afterwards, I was surprised he didn't defend down into turn 5 and left me that lane, and you don't give Kenton Cook a second opportunity. He pounced immediately. That was massive in this championship.
Biggest mover of the race might be Luke Hartog, who finds himself in the top 10 overall despite starting all the way at the back after the technical infraction cost him their qualifying times. Told you this guy was quick. Remember, he won his class, the Pro-Am class, at the Indy 8-hour last year, which I think was an introduction for many to his prodigious talent. He is outstanding.
Great example of the speed of the ACI Motorsports cars. Right now, Riley Dickinson has the fastest lap, but Luke Hartog is only a 1/10 off of that, so they've got great pace.
And he's done that while embroiled in traffic pretty much to this point. This is Hartog here in the white, black, and yellow Porsche Cayman. Dutch driver doing a partial season this year alongside Porsche Sprint Challenge graduate Dan Seville, who's had 2 really quick Dutch drivers as his co-drivers over the course of the season. It's alternated between Hartog and Kai van Berlo.
Yeah, Those young drivers just amazing, just super, super talented. They kind of plug and play. Porsche deliver these great drivers through their ladder system, but up front, Ortmann hangs on here. JMF going for another win. I think Bell's got a little bit more pace. He just lost out in that opening battle there through turn 1. Ortmann has not given up this position right now. Wants to hand it over his teammate with the lead. Dickinson looking menacing though there.
Riley, though, can afford to be a little bit patient. He knows he has Kurt Swearingen in the second stint, reigning champion in this series, in this class. Whereas for Matt Bell, Alex Vogel, much less experienced than Kurt. I think ACI would feel pretty good in that matchup head-to-head. No reason to take undue risk here. The only caveat to that is some of the other cars in the class will switch from their AMs to their pros in the second stint, so any chance you have to build a gap here would be beneficial, as problems have struck fast track racing once again today. Judson Holt, Denny Stripling.
What a disaster. They are very much in the championship talk. It's on the entry to turn 2. I'm not sure if he can back into that safe haven there. I'm not sure the stewards are going to want to leave that car just sitting there for another 45 minutes.
It's the car that brought out the yellow yesterday, not of their making, it should be noted. There was contact and a penalty was issued for it to, which car was that? That would have been the Postons Clay car, correct? That
yes, yeah,
had the contact?
Yeah, James kind of got in the back, drew that penalty. Had to serve the drive-through, then his teammate got turned and still finished second.
Yeah.
Extended their championship lead. How do you get involved in a drive-through penalty, get turned on the racetrack, and extend your championship lead? That's a wild day.
It was that kind of day, though, yesterday, and that kind of race. We saw some, frankly, bizarre things. Oh,
he's going.
This is interesting, yeah. Johnson able to get the car refired and moving again. That crew had some work to do to get some repairs made after race 1, or at least the makeup race yesterday.
He's got full speed. He's got it moving again, but not sure if it's stuck in gear, if he's done a Control-Alt-Delete there. Found a safe place to do it. Stewards will certainly talk to the teams when they're in kind of an unsafe position, give them a little bit of time before they throw the yellow out, but he's moving again. I'm sure he's up to full speed, but hopefully he can make his way back to the pit lane if he does have to come to a stop once again.
We're watching this great fight at the very front of the field. Ortmann currently leading the way. A couple of updates from Amanda. She does confirm that it was a transponder issue for Thunder Bunny, and they've been given a spare transponder that they're going to try and put in the car on the pit stop. So hopefully that will rectify some of the timing and scoring issues that they are dealing with. She also reports the issue for the Hannas, Grisham and Greenmeyer. It's a power steering issue for the Heart of Racing that has seen them drop out of the race today.
Yeah, you're not going to survive many laps around this place with no power steering. Sure, I don't care how many hours you spend in the gym.
No, and it's really not even down to the brute strength of it, is it? These cars are designed with power steering in mind. The steering rack is geared in such a way that if that goes away, it is next to impossible to drive for any length of time with the amount of force that's required to turn the wheel without the assistance of the power steering unit.
Yeah, if there's 5-10 minutes to go, you may be able to fight your way through it, but not when it's so early in the race. As Holt makes his way back to pit lane. This is a shame. They're very much an outside shot at the championship coming in, but this has been a devastating weekend so far. Still another race to go, of course, for them, but not the weekend they were looking for.
Got a glimpse a moment ago of Kevin Boehm, who had put the pass a few laps back on Alex Ellis. Continues to push on. He's got the very quick Danny Dushelski as his teammate. His front three, they've been locked together all race long. Ortmann out in front, and the distinction of winning as a solo driver, as we've mentioned briefly in the one race we did get to run at Road America. Braden Arthur, for whatever reason, was unavailable. Due to force majeure, it was ruled that Ortmann could drive by himself. Had a lengthier pit stop by rule as a result and overcame that. Still ended up winning the race. And then by a quirk of the regulations, Brayton Arthur still gets credit for the win and the points. That's not a bad way to do it.
Easiest win he's ever had.
No doubt.
Just break a sweat.
Just watch Mike do his thing. Although it was a stressful race, so maybe there was some sweat involved, but that was more stress related than exertion, let's say. There's some fights. Tony Gaples and James Clay duking it out, along with James Walker Jr. Clay in a bit of a pickle here because the cars that are on either side are fighting for position in the Pro-Am class. These are two cars that are on the inverse strategy of the front runners right now.
Unfortunately, with timing and scoring not showing Laura Hayes, we can't really tell what deficit James Clay has to Laura in terms of that battle for the lead in AM, but we understand it's strictly a transponder issue, and now she comes back to life. We're just suddenly seeing her on the scoreboard, and I'll give you an update on that. She has a 5-second lead over James Clay.
Okay. You ask, and
must have hit a curve or something.
Maybe. Stranger things have happened. And there you see Laura 13th. Well, she was 13th overall, and now it seems like they have come to life briefly. Now she takes her spot again.
That's important, though. I mean, because if the series said you got to change that transponder, problems there for Gaples.
Yes.
So I had a little moment there coming off turn 16, and it looked like Clay was going to pass, but now Tony's back up on the wheel.
Gaples gets the spot back, gets the buffer back, and this car qualified on the overall pole for race 2 tomorrow with Michael Cooper, who will have the second stint in just a few moments. We're not far away from the first pit stops, I suspect.
Yeah, certainly getting close to that point. Earliest time in the race, 36 minutes and 25 seconds to go. So about 3 minutes away from that first opportunity. But Michael Cooper, Tony Gaples, they actually dropped the spot yesterday, but there's still only 17 points out of the championship lead with lots of points to play for still.
That's the Black Dog Speed Shop McLaren you're watching right here. Tony Gaples, series veteran. James Clay, series veteran. I guess you could put James Walker Jr. into that conversation too. He's been at this for a few years now. It's
there's a problem there. There's
yes.
something going on here with the Thunder Bunny Racing BMW really slow. Ain't sure if she's got a cut down tire.
Yeah, this is not the transponder. Oh,
No.
This really backs everybody up.
They've had some heartbreak this year despite the outstanding performances.
That's a change for the AM class lead then, with James Clay coming through to take it. Wow. Now that Thunder Bunny team, they have been snake bit.
Made the switch from the Toyota to the BMW, really just didn't miss a beat in terms of their performances. I thought that the Toyota that they'd been running had shown really great pace, but they thought they had better chances with this BMW platform.
Laura, in particular, has been really, really quick in her first season of racing at the pro level. Looks like it's the left front. They've got their eye on it. It could have just held up about one lap longer.
Yeah.
They could have made the change in the window with the Joker tire rule. And it wasn't meant to be. A little contact perhaps on the left front. You see the ding?
Yeah.
Wonder if that had something to do with it.
The tire doesn't look like it's completely down. She was feeling something, but she arrested the speed so much, so hopefully it's not a suspicious issue as well. But she said now it looks okay from this vantage point. She just seemed to slow excessively.
Yep.
For maybe just a slow puncher of the tire down a little bit. Up front, look at Ortman really sideways there through turn 1. Matt Bell looking for a way through, tries the high line. He's got to really key on good exit speed here and see if he can send it down into the brake zone for turn 5. Dickinson's dropped back a little bit here.
And lets Bell focus exclusively forward. Doesn't have to think about playing defense. He got close, but Ortman had just enough of a buffer into the brake zone. That said, Bell puts the bumper to the Aston. Lets him claw a little bit closer, but still too far back.
Ortman just seems to be really strong on the brakes into turn 5. He's not compromising or defending with the line into there. And I think a factor is when you're on the rubber on the normal line, you got a bit more bite with the car and the racetrack. And if you send it down the inside, you could just skate straight on or get into that ABS system.
And While these two are squabbling amongst themselves, Riley Dickinson starts to close in once again.
McLaren looks super stable, doesn't it? Just look like the Aston Martin's got a little bit more roll, uses a little bit more of the curbs there.
Without question, it looks to be that Ortman is working a lot
in pit
harder.
lane.
Yeah, and he's had enough. So Mike David Ortman, from the overall lead of the race, makes the call to the pit lane just inside that de facto pit window. And it's a lengthier stop this weekend because of that tire rule. It's a new Pirelli tire that only debuted in North America at Road America, and because of the extreme nature of the load at this circuit and the team's relative inexperience with the tire, that's why that rule has gone into place, where you are allowed to change one during these pit stops at the team's discretion. But they've also given the teams an extra 5 seconds of stationary time in the pit lane to do so.
It's like they're happy with their balance on the race car and no excessive tire wear, so they're sticking with their original set here.
Tire change, though, for Danny Jashelski. Here comes a whole host of other cars into the pits as well.
Here's the domino effect. Look at James Clay and Tony Caples. This is not for even a class position. They're rubbing elbows there.
BMW is Clay, Gaples in the McLaren, side by side in the run down to Charlotte's Web. And James Clay will pry the spot away from Gaples. And this helps the team car to some degree if it slows Tony up a little bit, makes it where the undercut might help McQuarrie and Walker. So out of the pit lane. Doesn't look like any. Oh, there is a change.
Kenton's now behind the wheel, and look at that. They've leapfrogged around the 68, so 68 must have had a tardy stop, I would think.
Try and get to the bottom of that.
This is massive for the championship.
Man, another chance for the Rafa team to try and close in, and once again they find themselves behind the car they're chasing. 3 seconds longer in the pit lane.
Can't do that. Just can't do that. It's going to bite you when you got a team like Brandon Vandal's ticking the boxes in terms of execution.
Yep. It was a minute 28 stationary for the Supra, minute 25 for the BMW.
Tyler McQuarrie now aboard the championship, leading number 82. They got a 1-point lead in the championship coming into this race. Really tight.
A whole host of cars nipping at their heels. It is super competitive in Pro-Am.
Now for these pros out there, you're going to see them try and exhaust all the way down to 25 minutes to go on the board before they hit pit lane. It's the sister car in.
Yep, this is the car that had the moment on the opening lap. Did a decent job to recover. Jonathan Neudorf will take it the rest of the way. Meanwhile, Kitten Cook a little bit wide at the exit of the final corner. Here comes Tyler Gonzalez trying to repay the favor after losing the lead to Kitten late in the race just yesterday.
You know, a young Charger with so much success already under his belt like Tyler Gonzalez, he would have hated what happened late in the going yesterday. He's going to try and repay the favor here. This is the corner where he lost the lead in the race with just a lap to go. Sends it down the inside from a long way back. Kenton gives it to me, understeers wide a little bit, forces Kenton wide. He's going to grab the spot.
Wow.
Can't pace what they did yesterday, but in the reverse positions.
How about that? Tyler Gonzalez wanting to atone for an error yesterday, letting Kitten Cook through, and he does it in a big way. That swap of positions means at least a chance to claw back a couple of points if they can finish ahead of the BMW.
That is massive. Kenton coming off a victory just an hour or so ago with Connor Di Filippi. Oh, sideways there, both of them. Really big moments here, pushing at everything. From the outside, Kenton's on the rubbered in line, but Tyler just sends it from a long way back, then picks up a little bit of understeer, probably got in the ABS. That takes braking away, sends the nose straight forward. A little bit of rubbing, but all legit.
That was second. Nope, that was third and fourth changing hands in class. Still waiting on a Luca Mars pit stop. It's the leader right now in silver. It's like the top 5, something to that effect, have yet to pit. Maybe
Clay
it's
is
the top
in,
6.
Poston's behind the wheel. What a bizarre day they had yesterday, as we said earlier, Ryan.
Yeah.
Had that little bump Clay did with Holt, sent him for a ride. Took a long time to get the penalty call, drove down pit lane, ended up leading us back to green flag racing as a class leader. That was quite a bizarre situation, totally within the regulations, but the protocol, but Charlie was suddenly under the heat and got turned.
Looked like maybe Kenny Schmid and Anthony Gerasi were in a place where they could have taken advantage, but they also picked up some damage and didn't get a great result either. So no one could really capitalize on the misfortune of the others amongst the front runners in the AM class, and it was Paul Sparta and Darius Trinka that were left last one standing.
Right in the curbs there. Gonzalez really eating that one up, two-wheeling it through these high-speed sectors. Kenton trying to rebound here, just as Gonzalez would have been miffed last night. Kenton's not happy. You don't really, I'm not sure I can remember the last time Kenton Cook got passed in a race.
He goes one direction, generally speaking, and that is forward. He has that Super 8 his crosshairs with maybe a little bit of that racer's red mist as well. Matt Bell still waiting on him to make his pit stop. Same for the ACI Porsche in the background of Riley Dickinson. They're first and second overall, but still over pit stop.
Look at Kenton. He is really close right now, probing there down onto the inside into turn 1. Just with the length of that mandatory stop. Some cars still on a lap different right now, so these drivers are running in 8th and 9th overall, but a lap down on the leaders who have yet to hit pit lane, but time is running out down to the inside. Well, Gonzalez protects to the inside, Kenton look to the outside.
Tyler did not look comfortable at all on the brakes. That car was squirming left and right. Allowed Kenton to get alongside, but he couldn't complete the pass.
I almost wonder if that was Kenton just having to make that adjustment, jumping out of the GT3 car and immediately feeling the heat, whereas Gonzalez has been in a single mode for the weekend, just driving this particular race car. And now Kenton's got back into his rhythm.
It's a good question. Can't be easy making that change. How about that line from Gonzalez every time, bicycling up and over that curve?
Yeah, I don't think that's ideal. I don't see the advantage in doing that. Yeah, you're straight lining things a little bit, but you got to control the unsettled nature of the car as you come off the corner.
It's a lot of wear and tear as well for the suspension in particular to have to absorb as Cook lets it slide a bit wide, trying to time his exit here.
To the inside.
Whoa, Tyler saw it coming and quickly covered off that line of approach.
Yeah, Kenton was so high there in turn 16, just plunged it down the hill, and I think he'd already pre-gauged what he was going to do there.
This is a tough spot here for Matt Bell because his strategy is predicated on turning fast laps here and building a gap for Alex Vogel, and now he's caught this pair that is fighting amongst itself for perfectly valid reasons.
He can stay out there for 2 more laps, Ryan, potentially, if they roll it right up to the end of that window.
And he probably will, even though he is getting held up a little bit by the battling Supra and BMW.
Yeah, it's not exactly slow race cars that he's behind right now.
They wouldn't be slowing him down if they weren't fighting with themselves. This is interesting. This could be for the lead in AM. Darius Trinka looking to the inside of Charlie Postons into turn number 1, and he'll grab the spot.
Trinka and Sparta going for a second victory here this weekend. Paul Sparta finally getting off the goose egg for the year in terms of victory lane.
Darius is really quick. He's been fast this year in Lamborghini Super Trofeo. He's done some single make racing, a lot of club level racing, which is actually how he knows Paul Sparta. Paul was telling me they go all the way back to the very beginning of Random Vandals when they were doing endurance club level racing. And Darius actually has a business where he does the wraps, the graphics on these cars. It's called Rabid Wraps, and Paul was saying he's responsible for probably close to 50% of the wraps in this paddock.
Wow, that's a big business.
Here we go. Dickinson calls it quits from second overall.
Could have gone one more lap.
Yeah.
Another lap there. Tough though. If anything happens out on the racetrack, he could really get caught out. Really solid run here by ACI this weekend.
Scott got their first win of the season at Road America and then back backed it up by winning the Road America makeup race yesterday. And how about the charge from Hartog? Just outstanding. He was one of just a handful of drivers that did 24 hours of Le Mans, 24 hours of Nürburgring, and 24 hours of Spa this year in back-to-back-to-back weeks, and he's the only one of them that is not a factory driver.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What a month of racing that was.
Yeah, that's a lifetime's worth of racing in about 3 weeks. Oh, my. Oh, change of position here. Kenton Cook is back through on Tyler Gonzalez.
He is.
Wonder how that happened.
This won't take long, did it?
No. Oh!
That was close to a big moment for Kenton Cook. Just about keeps it together. Wow.
And Matt
Bella's
Bell
in.
dives in, exactly.
Had to come. Look at the clock. 25 minutes is the max.
Oh, Kenton is hustling that BMW M4 GT4.
Well, they can't clinch the title here today, but as they run right now, they would have in excess of 50-point lead. They have that tomorrow night. That's enough for the championship title.
That's right. Last pit callers are in. Here's Kurt Swearingen now aboard for ACI, going for a third win on the bounce, trying to defend his championship of a year ago. Great opening stint as well for Matt Bell, who showed his quality in the race as well as with that qualifying lap. Outstanding.
Yeah, really good. Still on with the Stevenson Autosport team. I think 14, 15 as I recall, kind of that area. 2014, 15, maybe a little bit later, but disappeared for a while, but great to see him back. He was always really solid, showcasing his skills at a later age these days.
Exactly right. 2015, 2016 even with the Stevenson team, and into a partial season in 2017. Race winner at GT4 level.
Wow, this is a
GT3
fierce battle we're looking at here.
Yeah.
Brandon Arthur on Hewitt for the lead in silver.
Yeah, this is great. Hewitt taking over for Luca Mars. I mentioned that car had the fastest lap of the race yesterday, but they did it much delayed after a technical issue early in the going. Here we go for the Pro-Am lead.
That's it.
Swearingen is through.
Look at this. Wow, and Tyler's going to send it up the inside here. Argy-bargy into turn 2.
Yep.
Look at Gonzalez. He's going to use up Kenton there. Kenton just had to give that up.
How about that? Super opportunistic from Tyler Gonzalez, and he knew he had to go. Kenton Cook was scrapping with Brayton Arthur there. It opened the door for Tyler Gonzalez, who immediately goes on the defensive once again down to turn 5.
For Gonzalez, it is nothing to lose. Yeah, he's second in the championship, but he's got to beat that 97 car. They have to beat it here today.
Simple as that. Must finish ahead, must get just that little bit closer to keep your hopes on life support going into the season finale. Kenton's already gotten back by once. We'll see if he can do it again. But the determination from the Rafa Racing team, from Tyler Gonzalez, from Gresham Wagner, as they look for their first 1-hour win of the year. Remember, they won the endurance race at Circuit of the Americas earlier this season, but they've yet to win one of these traditional GT4 America races. They're going to have to earn this one. It's not even for a win. This is just to stay alive in the points battle.
Wow, how tight do you like it? They are glued to each other right now. Amazing stuff.
Two really good young Chargers. Kenton Cook maybe a bit more established at this stage, but Tyler Gonzalez, look out. He has heaps of talent and is showcasing that here this year.
He looked a little ragged at times, but he's just fighting. He is fighting for all he's worth to keep in this championship fight. They're on the back foot big time. They've got to somehow beat this 97 car in both races here this weekend. Give him a shot at Indy at least. Watch Kenton there. He's just going to do the crossover there, timed up perfectly.
Whoa.
You couldn't put a fingernail between those two race cars there. He crossed over the tail.
Wow. Incredible timing. Incredible perception from Kenton Cook, and he is back through for another spot. That is up to third once again. But look at the traffic that looms ahead, and we know that traffic can present an opportunity. Tyler Gonzalez will not go quietly.
Vogel closes the door there on the 39 car of Max Hewitt. Timing and scoring just keeps bouncing around a little bit. That was close there, but Quentin Cook and Vogel. This gives Gonzalez a run, gives him a big run. Quentin's got to defend there. Oh, that was tight.
How close do you like it? In Pirelli GT4 America, top 4 in silver, running nose to tail. Hewitt in the Vanderster Aston has the spot. That's the white and blue car, just behind his Braden Arthur. Trying to take a victory where he's actually in the car. Meanwhile, Quentin Cook and Tyler Gonzalez are just behind.
Look at this. This is the top 4 in class here. Top 5 overall. Wild stuff. So Kenton's got 2 agendas here. He's got that championship closest pursuer on his tail, but he wants bigger points. Looks down to the inside on Arthur. Makes it stick. Now he's sniffing the lead there on Hewitt right in front of him. He gets a little bit sideways. Gonzalez moves up to P3 looking for more.
Wow. We got a warning issued as well to Max Hewitt for blocking. Gonzalez side by side with Quentin Cook again. He's not going to let this go easily, but does have to get back in line through the Alabama roller coaster. Arthur shoved out wide. Deshelski looking for a way by. That also is for position. That Porsche at the back of the train, another silver class car.
This is awesome stuff. Oh, look at the tail has been clipped there on Kenton's car. He's got a bit of a parachute down the straightaways now.
That is allowed Max Hewitt to get away from the front runners. Deshelski just got split by the Garcia Aston. Now able to clear the traffic. And the front runners all back together again. Kurt Swearingen, though, still leads this race overall on the strength of Riley Dickinson's opening stint. There he comes. Pro-Am class leader by a pretty hefty margin. You got to go all the way back to 7th overall to find Josh Green, 2nd place in class.
This is wild. I'll tell you what, that battle between Quentin Cook and Gonzalez, I'd say that's one of the most fierce battles we've seen for multiple laps so far this season.
Oh, look how loose Gonzalez is.
Drifting.
Holy cow.
Drifting. He is running right on the ragged edge here today.
That cost him a lot of momentum. Braden Arthur would love to get that spot back.
He's going to try and do the crossover like Kenton did. Doesn't time it the same.
Meanwhile, Kenton has caught Max Hewitt. Now he might be thinking about a win. Now he might be thinking about maximum points and trying to drive this championship lead to the edge of insurmountable.
Could be a huge day. Quentin Cook just amazing. Just seems to find a way, doesn't he? He's always there right at the end. Looking for his 13th victory on the season across all of the championships that he's competing in.
I can tell you this team was not expecting the win yesterday. They were as surprised as anyone that they ended up in a position to go for it. And here they are again. Kenton looking to the inside. Hewitt gives him just enough room. Kenton might have leaned on him just a tad, but Quentin Cook is through. He's by Max Hewitt. Now Tyler Gonzalez knows he's got to go. Puts the bumper to the Aston. He's got to get clear to try and track down the championship leader.
Quentin Cook. Wow, what a move. Stuck it down the inside. Superb stuff. He is on a different level right now. He has raised his own personal bar for this season.
Not sure there's a piece of bodywork on that BMW that won't need to be replaced before tomorrow. But I'll tell you what, it'll look beautiful in victory lane if he can hang on for the next 17 and a half minutes. Hewitt, to his credit, has gathered it back in, and he's kept Gonzalez at bay, in part because Braden Arthur's not making it easy on Tyler.
Gonzalez has just got to be screaming inside his helmet. He just cannot believe that the championship leader has got by and escaped.
Well, as it stands, it would be 10 points in the direction of Quentin Cook and Kevin Bowe. 25 points for the win, 15 for third. So at least if he could get around Hewitt, it would chop a couple of those points away.
It's so important just to keep it alive.
Go.
Wow, Gonzalez just loves that curve there, doesn't he?
Yep.
Just so comfortable with her, it seems now. It's like his routine.
Well, the amount of times he's done the same thing makes you think this is his preferred approach to the corner. He's closed back in on Hewitt once again.
Maybe he's saving tires. He's only got 2 touching most of the time.
That is a technique. Not sure it's advisable. This is where the disclaimer comes in. Professional driver on a closed course. Don't try this at home. How about Hewitt, though? Let's give him a call. Young guy, doesn't have a ton of experience. Ran in Toyota GR Cup last year, his first real season in tin tops. Made the switch into first GT America, then mid-season transitioned here to GT4 America. He has been really, really quick at times. I've been super impressed.
Well, he's in a really strong crowd right here. He's making a statement. Good teammate in Luca Mars, really strong driver combination here.
Yes,
and
good little team as well. Something of a revival in recent years for the Van der Stur Racing name. That's a name that, if you got a long enough memory, you can conjure up some entries in years past.
And ALMS, actually, one of the drivers who drove for them was Ben Devlin. I was over in the UK last week and had a meal and a cup of coffee with him, so he was certainly one of their prime drivers back in the day.
15 minutes to go. Long time for Max Hewitt to try and hold off a very hungry and desperate Tyler Gonzalez.
Oh, here we go. That's a bold move. That was really nicely judged. But oh, I tell you what, elbows were out there a little bit. I think the stewards will look at that one and want to review it a little bit. He was drifting out there, and he just gave it a little bit more to ensure that the position was gained. Pretty aggressive there by Tyler.
And there's leaning on your competitor, and then there's hip and shoulder. And that looked to be a bit more of the latter than the former. But again, desperate times, you can't fault him, and that is under review.
Yeah. I'll wait, but I think I know the way that one's going to go.
Now, cost Hewitt a couple of spots as well, as Arthur's been able to come on through.
Think about the championship. If he gets a drive-through penalty, he'll plummet down the order. I'm sure that was really necessary.
But you can understand
the desperation's there,
right.
Yeah. I mean, he's just looking at that championship leader again, finding a way to get out front, disappearing, to be honest with you.
Running out of superlatives to describe Kenton Cook, running out of descriptors for that line as well for Tyler Gonzalez. It is breathtaking. Willing to let that side of the car pop up into the air like that, lap after lap after lap. Cannot fault the effort from anyone with the Rafa Racing team. Tyler Gonzalez, Gresham Wagner, the last 2 Toyota GR Cup champions, in fact, the first 2 Toyota GR Cup champions stepping into this entry, and they've been solid all year. Let's look at this again here, Cal.
Just right there, just like Tyler just opened up his hands completely, you know, kind of had it on an arc, and that was just like ensuring that Hewitt couldn't be in position by the time he got down to that next apex.
It's close.
I'd lean towards, yeah, that was a bit too aggressive, to be honest with you, but 60-40.
Yep. Well, happy we're not the ones making that call. We'll pass along the ruling when we've got it. For now, though, the move sticks, and Tyler Gonzalez at least would take some solace in second place points rather than third place points. There it is, though. Drive-through penalty. Incident responsibility. Didn't take too long.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're just trying to really close down. I mean, we've really cleaned our act up in this championship over the last couple of years, and I think you just got to stamp that sort of move out. I mean, I understand there are frustration here from Gonzalez, but let's take another look at it from a couple of angles here in terms of how it developed. So he sends it beautifully down the inside, but Hewitt hangs tough around the outside. He'd had the inside line for the upcoming corner, and Tyler just made sure he wasn't in a position to do that.
It's probably that second angle that is the damning look at it.
Yeah,
It's close. It was really close.
Yeah, it's tight. It's tight. It's just, I think you're just making a statement too. Listen,
Sure.
boys, you gotta race clean. You gotta give each other a little bit of respect. Otherwise, it just can get off the rails. So, I understand the decision.
But it is costly.
Oh.
It drops them down to 7th in class. What does that do for the points?
Oh, massive. What's that? A 19-point swing or something? That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's going to be
6 points for 7th.
66 maybe. Leaving tonight, and they just need to be 50 in front at the end of tomorrow. So it's not done and dusted, but.
Well, making it that much harder is the change in the regulations this year. It used to be there would be no points if you didn't make it to at least halfway in the race, and so that jeopardy always hung over things. But now, if you take part at least in a formation lap even, you're guaranteed to score last place points, let's say, which in silver is 7th place. So Kenton Cook, Kevin Boehm, as long as they roll out of the grid, will score at least, what did I say it was, 6 points
yeah.
for 7th minimum.
Yep.
Back
Worst
to this
they could
battle.
be caught would be 18, even if
Yeah.
Gonzalez and company won. So
Correct. And that would keep them alive, but barely.
barely
48.
Yeah, 2 points.
And that is the best case scenario tomorrow as it stands.
As they run, I think we can say, as long as Kenton Cook and Kevin Boehm make the start in the next 3 races, the
Yes.
championship is theirs. Let's put it that way.
Yes. What a result it would be. Remember last year going into the finale at Indy, the Vandals had a chance to win a couple of different championships and had it all go away in dramatic fashion late. Ooh, that was a late lunge from Celia Haug. Looking to the inside of Deschelski.
Mad
Quite
Dog
get
on the
alongside.
attack here.
Yeah.
Going for it. Love this team. Love Marco Polo. Nikolai Alganian. Great to see those boys back in the paddock full time. Talked about it yesterday, how they put in some really stellar performances with that KTM machine a couple of years ago.
Celia Haug was a Ryder Engineering factory driver for a number of years, and that's the firm that was responsible for developing the KTM GT4 cars, so that's partially what led to him coming over here, and he and Nikolai struck up quite a partnership. Great to see it reunited here once again after a couple of years away.
Battle here for the final podium spot in that silver class. So they're going to continue to fight. Here's Swearingen across the line. Only 2.7 second lead overall on Kenton Cook, with Swearingen just thinking about that Pro-Am victory for Kenton Cook. He'd love some icing on this cake today. Wow, what a weekend for him.
Kurt's had good pace though. I mean, he's only given up about a second. A little bit more, but not much.
Ooh, here we go.
Deschelski.
Tight there with Deschelski and Hewitt. Celia Haug's got to run. Gets to the outside here. Who's going to be the bravest into the brake zones? What's Celia Haug? Try and carve across here. Gets the power down. He's going to have the inside line for the upcoming corner, and he gets the acceleration run as well. Really nice job by Mad Dog.
Wonder how you say Mad Dog in Norwegian. Bet it's a mouthful. Celia Haug, though, doesn't have it yet. Wow, Deschelski lets it hang around the outside. I'm not sure we've seen that all weekend in that Alabama roller coaster section. Not enough, though. Mad Dog hangs on.
Yeah, Celia Haug, you know, he's racing hard, but didn't get so aggressive. It was just the lightest brush as he's 2 wheels in the dirt here, trying to hang on. That was classy racing between these two.
Yeah, for sure. 2 young guys who would not have raced against one another at all until this year.
Celia Haug is going to push forward. As we said so often, there's a huge difference in terms of the taste at dinner tonight if you're on the podium versus 4th. He wants that podium spot away from Hewitt right now.
I think that taste is champagne flavor, Calvin. That's what's at stake. Braden Arthur moves around Dan Seville. Now back to this fight here. Hewitt, Celia Haug, Deschelski, with Josh Green starting to enter the conversation as well. He's trying to catch Kurt Swearingen. Green and Craven yesterday were runners-up, weren't they, in Pro-Am? That's where they find themselves once again.
We're green runs right now with the championship leaders sitting in third. That's a 3-point swing, and they came in only 1 point back. They'd have the championship lead tonight, Josh Green, if they finish in second ahead of Tyler McQuarrie.
Right, so they'll want to keep that in the back of their mind and not take undue risk here working through this melee in the silver class.
Yeah, I think Josh Green, he's not going to get to Swearingen, and McQuarrie is 20-odd seconds back, so I think just hold station with 6 minutes to go. Don't get in this fight, you don't need any part of it. Oh, Silly Haug missed the entry there a little bit, gets a run on Hewitt. Hewitt gets bowled up in traffic. Here comes the Shelsky trying to stuff it down the inside. Silly Haug side by side, Hewitt sideways there.
Wow, Hewitt with the rear wheels up in the air, bounced wide, opened the door, and Celia Haug rammed his way through, taking yet another spot late in the race, and Hewitt's troubles aren't done yet, getting tagged a bit by Dyshelski, who in turn was getting bumped by Alan Patton in the Thunder Bunny car that's not even in this battle. It's multiple laps, well, not sure that's true, but it is a ways down the order, let's put it that way. And then Josh Green just, guys, take care of yourselves, please.
Yeah.
I really need this second place.
Just back out of it, get away from this mess. You don't need to get wrapped up in it. You're in kind of a vacuum right now with Swearingen up front by 15 seconds. Many cars between you and he, so that's not really a factor. And McQuarrie, I said he's now 23 seconds back, so no threat.
Patton just got wrapped on the knuckles with a driving standards warning. This is not his fight. Race control wants to make sure he's got that in the back of his mind. Here's the front of the field. Kurt Swearingen, the overall leader, with just under 5 minutes to go, looking for his third straight win, Calvin. And amazing it took as long as it did to get the first one, and then all of a sudden the floodgates have opened up for Kurt and Riley Dickinson.
Yeah, I think they just really found a sweet spot with this car, sort of like late in the season, firing on all cylinders. Curious to see how much he wants this overall win and how much Kenton wants it as well. Kenton Cook going for his third victory of the weekend.
Wow, good point. Won race one, the makeup race yesterday. Just got out of the GT World Challenge America race that he and Connor DeFilippi won for Random Vandals. Helps to extend a points lead there. Similar situation here in Pirelli GT4 America, looking to make it a second win in as many starts in the series here this weekend. I don't think either of these guys is going to take any risk. This is the result they both need, and it does not matter who finishes ahead of the other. Oh! Shelsky has backed it in to the Armco, and he's stopped in the gravel trap with just 3.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, I think this is going to bring out full course yellow pretty much immediately.
This could help preserve an overall win for ACI Motorsports if that yellow does come out. Right now, it is not, covered just by the local yellow. That is a real shame for VPX Motorsports. They had a good day going. It is a little bit of a bonus for the Gonzalez Wagner car because that's a position they just gained, so a few more points. And now full course yellow is out as we look at the replay.
Oh boy. And he's just got a warning, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's really unnecessary when you're a lap down or more. It's not going to be a popular move.
No. And unfortunately, it breaks off some really good battles throughout the field, and perhaps most unfortunately, spoils a good, strong day for the VPX team. So this will be the final lap of the race. Kurt Swearingen and Riley Dickinson, barring something catastrophic on this final lap at reduced pace behind the safety car, will take their third straight win. Meanwhile, Kenton Cook did what he needed to do in this final stint to get to the front, score the points, and with their championship rivals from Rafa Racing penalized down in 6th, this could be the day that, while not officially, more or less clinches this championship bid for Random Vandals after so many years of effort.
Yeah, unofficially 64-point lead as they run, and if they can just get to the stripes, so the 97 squad. Big day. There's Riley Dickinson. What a stint he put in there. He's got a big smile on his face.
Yeah, he was great, which is what you'd expect.
Super talented young man.
No question. Really, really good in single-make Porsche racing. I mean, had a dominant Carrera Cup championship a couple of years ago. Looked like he was going to have another this year, but it's tightened up. He and Ryan Yardley now separated by just a handful of points going for the 2025 title, but now showcasing what he can do in the GT4 level alongside Kurt Swearingen, who's built this ACI Motorsports team up into a really stout operation out of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Tell you what, I don't know what Ken and Cook's eating for breakfast these days, but I want some of it.
Sign me up.
Ugh, what a roll he's on. I mean, he is just driving at such a high level. You know, his speed, but his racecraft is just superb. He certainly made up for the letting Tyler by him there in that break zone early in his stint.
Well, it's a shame it has to end at a reduced pace, but without a question, there were fireworks aplenty in this race, and at the end of 60 minutes of racing, Kurt Swearingen, Riley Dickinson, and ACI Motorsports are set to take the victory as the checkered flag waves at Barber Motorsports Park. They get the victory for the second straight day and third race on the bounce. Kenton Cook and Kevin Boehm edge that much closer to a championship in the silver class for Random Vandals Racing. They take yet another win, and now we just wait for the sister car of Darius Trinka and the team boss, Paul Sparta. They pick up their second win in succession as well. Victory in the AM class with a 10th place overall result.
Good to see Mad Cilia Haug on the podium with Nikolai Alganian, Marco Polo Motorsport. I guess their first of the year, isn't it?
It is their second.
Second.
They were on the podium in race 2 at Road America, finished third.
Okay.
So match that here today. Again, that team in a bit of flux. We mentioned it yesterday, but new tuning shop behind them, Chicago Performance Tuning Company. And there's Alberto Pena and the rest of the Random Vandals team celebrating for the second straight day. A pair of class wins and a runner-up result. All three cars finished in the same positions in their respective classes as they did yesterday. 5 wins
for the team on the weekend.
Yeah.
There's still a day to go.
Yeah, good point. Wow. I mean, we thought JMF was having a weekend with 3 wins in TC America, really setting them up, but Random Vandals operating at another level. Provisional race results, Dickinson and Swearingen, the overall win. Their first overall victory of the season. Then it's Kenton Cook, Kevin Boehm for Random Vandals, winners in silver, second overall, just ahead of Arthur and Ortman, Cilia Haug and Alganian, then Hewitt and Mars. Good rebound for them after misfortune yesterday, not at all of their making. Sam Craven, Josh Green, another runner-up result for them. That's huge for them in the championship, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, they sleep them to the top of the standings. It's very tight coming in, but unofficially I think they're going to be ahead of the 82 car, who finished in third. So yeah, that was a 3-point swing. Should have the lead by 2.
Quarry and Walker, third place result, but they dropped behind for the first time in a while in the point standings. It's shaping up to be a really good battle for the final 3 races. Darius Trinka, Paul Sparta, the winners in AM. Joining them on the podium, Kenny Schmid, Anthony Gerasi, James Clay, Charlie Poston. So good bounce back for Schmid and Gerasi in particular. That points battle continues to be really, really tight in AM as well.
Yeah, that is certainly tightens things up a bit. So it was a 9-point lead. That'll cut it down to 6 in the AM class.
Yep. Plenty to parse through here after this race. It's still one more to go. These GT4 America races are exhausting for all involved. And we got 3 of them this weekend, Cal. I
love your honesty.
Well, I had a good laugh about it with a couple of the drivers in the paddock after yesterday, which might have been an hour-long race, but it felt like a lot longer than that. We had so much to try and decipher. And I asked for a more straightforward race today, and I guess more or less they delivered. Here's the celebration, though, for ACI Motorsports. The team boss climbs out of the car and celebrates yet again. What a roll they're on. A little more subdued for this team. They know that their job's not quite done yet, but they are that much closer
Getting really
to celebrating
close.
a title.
Yeah. Fantastic stuff.
Paul Sparta, M-Class winner, also team boss at Random Vandals. He'll go and congratulate the ACI guys, and Kurt in particular, who I'm sure he can commiserate with on what it's like to be an owner-driver in this championship. There's Kenton Cook, just sharing a couple of quick thoughts with Kevin Boehm, who's got Gizmo the raccoon. That's the mascot for Random Vandals, proudly sticking out of the shirt. Gizmo's had a taste or two of champagne here today, too.
Yeah, that is for sure. I'm not sure if they have a spare Gizmo or whether he's the same one every time we see him, but
these are the important questions that we ponder at night. Well, time to hear from some race winners. Amanda Busick is in victory lane.
Well, I will start with Kurt Swearinger, who I think has hugged everyone in the podium celebration so far. And Kurt, I want to start with you because you got to see the checkered flag first as the overall winner. How sweet was that?
It's nice to get one. We've been wanting one last year, and we got it this year, so it's just extra special. Thankfully for the safety, because Kenton was coming, and I was like, oh my God, he's gonna get us. But I was gonna let you through clean, buddy.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, I was. I just didn't want no part of it. I wanted to just get my race done.
Dude, you were flying.
Yeah, thank you. So it was fun.
I love that Kenton Cook just said you were flying.
That guy is quick. Holy crap. He made me tired.
Riley, you gave Kurt the perfect alley-oop to finish this off, and the groove that you guys have gotten into of late, 3 wins in a row. Where have you found it?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say enough about Kurt Swearinger and the whole ACI crew. You know, they've done an unbelievable job rallying back through this, and yeah, got one for the old guys over here, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I can't say enough for everyone at Race for Children's that came out here today. This is obviously close for them. This is their hometown in Birmingham. So had my coach out there, Doug Neal, as well, and all the handprints on the car as well. So good stuff for sure. But thanks everyone back home, and yeah, that was pretty cool.
Nice job.
Thank you.
As we move over to Random Vandals for the second win on the weekend. And Kenton, I was looking back at your finishes of late. Obviously well done here this weekend already, but 6 wins in the last 7 races. And Calvin Fish said that you have raised your personal bar this season, but wants to know, what do you eat for breakfast?
Sorry, I didn't hear what you
Calvin wants to know what you eat for breakfast.
Oh, some Wheaties, I guess. I don't know, but no, very, very thankful and glad to be a part of this team. Kevin did a really good job at the beginning. Kept us in contention the whole time, and this thing is just a rocket ship in the end. These guys, Will, Pete, and Nate, and John, everyone that was on our car this weekend was stellar. So all year, we've had a really good car, and yeah, we're this much closer to the championship.
I can't verify it now as my stats are over there, but I think in all classes and all categories and all of our racing series, you guys might have the largest gap in the championship at present. What makes this duo so lethal, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, I've learned so much from Kenton in the last 3 years. It's been an absolute pleasure to kind of see how he approaches everything behind the wheel, and try to emulate the things that I really like that he does, and it's made me such a better driver. And then I think we like the same car, we like the same stuff, we approach racing the same way. It just works really well. And when you get us together, the whole team, everybody behind the scenes that it takes to operate a race team working this well together, we get these kinds of results, and it's pretty surreal, to be honest.
Congratulations to Random Vandals as we head over to the other Random Vandals car that found victory in back-to-back. And Darius, I'll come straight to you. I know it's going to be hard to hear me. We're ready for a party down here, guys. But I saw on social media you talked about the challenge of coming in and joining this group, but you have adapted perfectly. How did you do it?
Yeah, I mean, no better team than Random Vandals Racing to welcome you as a new driver in SRO. We had super car. The V-Brick BMW was amazing. Can't thank Paul enough. He drove amazing race. Gave me the car, I believe, in P3. And yeah, all I had to do is bring it home with other guys, I guess, getting penalties or something like that. I don't know what happened.
All right, well, there is one more win available here this weekend. Paul, are your thoughts on a championship?
Well, not for the AM car. We're just happy to win because we were having a dry spell there, but we are definitely focused on the championship for the 97 car and in World Challenge as well. So, and the 94. I mean, they took the lead today, even though they got P2 again. So, playing it smart, hopefully go to Indy and have some real fun at that gala.
Congrats so far.
Thank you.
Plenty to smile about for Paul Sparta, but he's not done yet. Neither are the rest of these teams and drivers in Pirelli GT4 America. Still one more race to go in this triple header weekend. Any of those comments stand out to you, Cal?
No, I think you just got to focus forward. It's not over till it's over. I mean, they got 8 fingers and 1 thumb on the trophy already. They just need to start the races effectively from this point forward, but they'd love to celebrate it tomorrow and go to Indy with nothing to worry about at all.
Well, that's the goal for sure, and they got a little bit closer, at least with the silver class entry here today. Second race of the triple header got underway just over an hour to go with Matt Bell leading the field to green, but a big move. Mike David Ortman taking the lead early. Behind him, the team car goes for a wild ride, somehow not collected by the rest of the field. Kevin Bohm trying to make up for disappointing grid position early on, fighting with Alex Ellis in the Porsche. The front of the field, it compressed behind Ortman with Matt Bell starting to put on a charge. Then the pit window opened up. Ortman was one of the first into the pit lane and freed Matt Bell and Riley Dickinson to go on a tear at the tail end of their stints. Coming out of the pit stops, driver changes, and Tyler Gonzalez saw the opportunity to get around the championship leaders. He grabbed the position, at least momentarily, as Darius Trinka battled later on in the race. Gonzalez still fighting with Kenton Cook late in the going. This was Cook trying to go the long way around Braden Arthur, opened the door for Gonzalez to come back through, but Kenton was not to be denied here today. Ultimately got the pass done, then tracked down Max Hewitt for the overall lead of the race, which he would not, I take that back, for the lead of the silver class, a lead that he would not relinquish, because leading overall after the pit stop was Kurt Swearingen. Great opening stint from Riley Dickinson, put him in that position. And then this incident late in the race meant we ended under yellow behind the safety car. Race number 2 came to a conclusion with plenty to celebrate throughout the paddock. And now the podium celebration is underway. For the second straight day, it's Paul Sparta and Darius Trinka that take the top step on the box. Next to them, though, Schmid and Gerasi, who are really quietly putting together a solid season, contending for the title. Had a big setback yesterday, only finished in 4th. Came into the weekend 3 points out of the M-Class points lead, and bounced back today to get a strong result of 2nd, just ahead of the Bimmer World car, Clay and Postons. It's not going to come easy this year. Cal, when we've seen James and Charlie win titles in the past, they've been runaways. Last year was a dip, no question, in their overall result. But here this year, they found the pace again, but so has the rest of the class. They're really having to fight.
Yeah, I mean, they've kind of been the dominant force in terms of speed and wins and things like that, but it's kind of feast or famine. They typically either win or not finish on the podium. Today, they've a little bit different to that 3rd place finish, but importantly, Kenny Schmid and Gerasi there finish ahead of them and close the points gap just that little bit. It's so tight, as you can see here.
Yeah, remarkably close. Unfortunately, fast track racing really eliminated from contention with 2 disappointing days, despite running at the front, especially yesterday.
Yeah, they had the lead there and got taken out. It was a rough move. I think Holt was having a little bit of an issue with his car, and Clay kind of ran over him, unfortunately, and then another technical issue here today.
Mathematically, Judson Holt not eliminated, but that is a big gulf to try and overcome with just 75 points maximum left on offer. With 3 remaining races here this season, Postons and Clay by 6 points just 6 over Gerasi and Schmid, who have been, they were thereabouts all year. I really have to say, I was doing my prep for this race weekend, and I started to realize, wow, they've had a really good year, and I feel like we haven't really given them their due. So they certainly deserve it, and they very likely will go to Indy with a good chance to steal the championship away.
It's bounced backwards and forwards, that championship lead they had a little bit earlier in the season, but Postons and Clay went on a bit of a tear with some victories and grabbed the lead, but it's tight. 6 points is nothing.
No, especially with just those 3 races left and plenty of drama in store. There's a look at the next podium. This is the silver class podium. Celia Haugen Elganian up there in spot number 3. Mike David Orton, Braden Arthur finish in 2nd. Now, you always like to make the comparison between Nikolai Elganian and Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel's hung the helmet up, though, now. So it's left to Nikolai to carry the torch.
Selling his Valkyrie this week. What's going on with Danny boy?
It's a good question. Named as a Ford Racing brand representative moving forward, but done with competitive motorsport. His doppelganger, though, on the podium here today as we see the race winners make their way to the top of the box. Kevin Boehm on the right, Kenton Cook on the left, and Gizmo popping out of the fire suit. Big smiles because they know it's not job done yet, but it's awfully close. If they could just take the start, as we talked about, in the remaining 3 races, it'll be very difficult to overcome.
Got a feeling they want to do it in style here tomorrow. That's my thought.
It could happen. Tomorrow could be the day. Just need to leave the weekend with a 50-point or more gap to Gonzalez and Wagner. Well, it might have been for them today. I mean, got to give Tyler Gonzalez tons of credit. He was there, ready to fight. Took the position away a couple of times, lost it again, got it back. Then doing battle with, who was it? It was Max Hewitt, wasn't it? Late in the going. Little bit of contact that led to a penalty that proved so costly because instead of finishing 2nd or 3rd and staying in the hunt, they only score 6th place points here today. And this is the consequence. Look at the lead.
64 points. They just need to be 50 ahead tomorrow evening. So take a disastrous day when they haven't had many of those this year for them not to do that tomorrow.
And again, just starting the race, they're guaranteed 6 points. So that makes it that much more difficult for Gonzalez and Wagner to claw back that deficit. Arthur and Ortman putting together a really good year together as well. 2 rookies to this championship. Ortman's reputation preceded him. He was really quick in GT4 cars in Europe, but has to learn the new lifestyle, the new tracks, and bring along a rookie effectively to the championship, and they've done well.
He's pretty aggressive in a rental car as well, as we saw him leaving DIR a few weeks ago.
Indeed. Shame as well. Colin Garrett and Zach Anderson couldn't be here this week, and you see them down in 4th in points. They were in the conversation too. It was a race-by-race situation for them, according to the Autotechnic team, trying to put the budget together to make a run for the championship, and when things didn't quite go their way at Road America, it sounds like they're regrouping with the hope to put something together for next year. If something were to come together, they might be at Indianapolis, but no guarantees of it, and we certainly hope to see Colin and Zach back at the racetrack before much longer. One final podium to recognize here today. Tyler McQuarrie, James Walker finishing in 3rd, but it is super, super close now. Courtesy of this 2nd place result, the points lead has swapped hands. Josh Green, Sam Craven putting together a really solid year as well.
Yeah, Paul Sparta is so high on Josh Green. He says he is like a mini Kenton Cook, and that's a pretty heavy statement to make.
Hard to argue, though. I mean, we've seen some great drives out of Josh all year long. Once again, really strong here today.
ACI team are pumped up.
Yeah.
Feeling it.
Well, you heard the reference that Riley made, Racing for Children's, which is a charity supporting a local children's hospital here in this area. And they've got a couple of the folks that kind of represent the hospital from that children's hospital out there with them, joining them on the podium. Really special moment.
Raise up those trophies again.
This is what's called the hat dance. We swapped to the VP hats. Another chance to pose for the photos, and then very, very soon it's a chance to spray the champagne. And really interesting to learn from Kurt that it's the team's first overall win. Really interesting, and you could see that was very special, that accomplishment for them. Now they will celebrate as the points battle continues to condense late in the season in the Pro-Am class. Here we go. Green and Craven now by 2 points. Swearingen and Dickinson, they were a ways out coming into the weekend. That has changed. Winning 3 straight will do that.
Big time. This is an intense championship. Oh, this is fantastic. 3 races to go, 1 tomorrow. Setting up a grand finale at Indy.
Down in 4th, Michael Cooper and Tony Gaples. That's the car that starts on overall pole tomorrow. With a good result and a little luck, maybe they can head to Indy thinking they've got an outside chance at stealing something away. But we will see when we get to the 3rd race of the weekend tomorrow. So much fun as the season comes down to the wire. So much up for grabs, and the stakes just continue to raise. Hope you join us for race 3 from Barber tomorrow.